Hey sis. So we are continuing our short Talk Tuesday episodes this week. There will be no intros with music at the beginning of these episodes, no outros. We just jumping in, getting into what we're talking about for the week. All right. So I just want to remind you of that. But I do want to be sure that you're still subscribing to the podcast and leaving your 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Remember, those things really help the show. So continue doing that. So today we are talking about releasing emotional pain, especially when it becomes too intense. So after a breakup or a divorce, you will find that there are times when the emotional pain becomes so intense that it can feel unbearable. So it's like, what do you do in those moments? So normally, I encourage you guys to journal, pray, and talk it out most of the time, but these are more ongoing techniques to implement daily on your healing journey. But sometimes, you need something to stop the pain immediately, right? It just becomes overwhelming, intense, and, it's kind of like, what do I do? So I have a new recommendation for you guys today, just a quick tip. And my recommendation is to move your body. All right, so we haven't really talked about this much. I want to give the disclaimer, I am not a healthcare professional. I am not in the medical field whatsoever, but I'm telling you something that has worked for me and that I know have worked for other people, okay? So move your body. And this can look different for everyone, all right? So this can be as simple as engaging in grounding techniques or as extreme as doing some rigorous exercise, okay? And grounding is one of the, quick release techniques that I give in my course, Grieving the Living, because it's so simple, yet it is definitely effective in those moments when you become overwhelmed. So, our minds, they wander all over the place, but this particular technique will help you recenter and bring you back from where your mind has wandered to in that present moment. When I'm at home, I love to go in my backyard and feel the grass under my feet with my eyes closed. I just go out barefoot and I just, I'm not a person who walks around barefoot often, but I do like in those moments to go and just sometimes stand there and have a moment with my eyes closed, or to walk back and forth and feel the grass between my toes and under my feet. It's just a technique to bring me back center, to help release some of the stress and emotions that I'm feeling in that moment. And so, again, I talk about this in my course. It's one of the quick release tips that I give. And so, how you move your body depends on your physical condition. Okay. So it doesn't have to be that, I'm talking about grounding, but it doesn't have to be that. So it depends on your physical condition. So keep that in mind. I'm giving you this disclaimer again. Okay. I am, in no way a healthcare professional, not a professional trainer. I'm, none of those things. So you have to know your body. Or you can check with your healthcare person or team to see what your body can handle. Because again, moving your body looks different for everyone. So how you move your body also depends on where you are at the time. All right. So when I'm at work, I don't engage in grounding. So for example, I'm not going to go walk. There's grass on my job, right? There's grassy areas, but I'm not going to go walk outside at my job to feel the grass between my toes. That's just not professional. Okay. So, but, I will walk around the parking lot to clear my mind. I might still walk, but I have to move my body in some way. When I'm feeling stressed, if I'm feeling overwhelmed, I just need a release. I go and clear my mind and just walk around. So start thinking about how you can move your body when your emotions become overwhelming. There's a stage of grief that I call intense emotion stage. It's the intense emotion stage. I talk about the flood of emotions. I talk about, how to handle those emotions in different ways. So, this is where I teach you about grounding and other quick release techniques to help you in these moments. So, I don't want you to forget about my course, Grieving the Living. It's a 4-week self-paced course that takes you through each stage of grief so you can find healing for your broken heart. And just for being a podcast listener, you can get 20% off my course. So just click the Grieving the Living link in the show notes and use the coupon code podcast20 at checkout for a 20% discount. All right. And I want to remind you also that the only reason you're experiencing such intense pain right now is because you're grieving, and it hurts. Grief hurts. Losing someone hurts. Losing that relationship, not having a future that you thought you would have is very painful. And so whether you have identified it as grief or not, you're definitely grieving, sis. And so I know that these emotions become overwhelming for you sometimes, which is why we are talking about it. All right. And there's no way to bypass the grief, but you can go through it and come out better on the other side, come out better, healed and whole on the other side of that grieving process. So I want you to be able to do that. That is why I created the course. And that's another way that I'm here to support you. And if you have any questions, of course, you can always reach out. Email me at contact@candiceabaddies.com. And I will definitely answer any questions that you have about it. But, I just want to talk about that part of moving your body on today. Find out what you like. I've been exercising more lately. I'm so proud of myself. I got me a, what do you call those things? It's a Pilates reformer board or whatever. I got one of those and I've been exercising. And while I hate it in the moment, I do feel so much better afterwards. And so I've been doing more rigorous exercise because this season has been, a little bit stressful for me. But, I love being able to release in that way. And so find your way that you can move your body that is safe for you, comfortable for you, but also actually getting those endorphins pumping in your brain and allowing you to actually let your emotions flow through you and out of your body. All right. So that's it today for our Short Talk Tuesday episode. I love you so much. And don't forget to join me back here next week. Bye, sis.